Hi everyone, my name is Ariana Warner and I am the founder and creator of the Dinosaur Onesie project. I'm here to talk to you today about the project and hopefully answer some questions that you have about what the project's all about and where it came from and kind of see where we're trying to expand to. So I'm going to start off and talk about my own personal history because that's really where the project came from. So growing up, I was really shy. Whenever a teacher would ask a question, I would be the first person to have their head in their lap and their hands underneath themselves, trying to avoid eye contact from the teacher. And every other kid, would be the person that'd be like, "Oh, pick on me," and I never wanted attention. I never wanted to have anybody looking at me. I always thought that I was going to do something wrong. I thought that, what if the teacher did ask me a question? I would have to answer that question, and what if I got it wrong, and all these different questions. So I was totally, as a child, insecure, unsure about myself, unsure about others. I was shy. I was just always never wanted attention. And that kind of overflowed into my personal, extracurricular activities as well. I played soccer for 14 years of my life, and I never wanted anybody to cheer for me. Literally, if someone started to cheer for me and I had a breakaway, I would stop dead in my tracks, and the other team, of course, would get the ball from me, and I didn't want the attention. And so it was very difficult for me to overcome that. And I did have my grandfather. He was the only person who could cheer for me on the sidelines, and he would be the loudest person. And a lot of my childhood successes and awards that I achieved were done for him. I mean, it was always something that he added a different component of pride to myself. I mean, he was so proud of me, and I had to give him something to be proud of. So it kept me working really hard to achieve these different goals, and he helped push me to do the things that I wanted to do, but I was just too insecure to really go after them by myself. I had dreams of growing up and playing soccer for a college team, for then afterwards finding a career in the sports world as a team manager or, a personal trainer or something. And all of that was changed in one day. On September 19th, 2007, I was running down the soccer field and tweaked my knee, just like anybody else tweaks their knee. But this was different. That happened on a Sunday. By Wednesday, I couldn't walk anymore, and when I went to go see my doctor, he put me in a wheelchair. And we found out 3 months later, after I couldn't walk for those 3 months, that I was diagnosed with a predisposed rare chronic nerve disorder. And the tweaking of my knee set it off. I mean, it could have gone off at any time, but this was the time that it happened, or it decided to come out. I was told by numerous doctors that I would never walk again, and that I was going to die from this condition within less than a year, that it would spread to take over the rest of my body. And for somebody who was in their senior year of high school, that was supposed to be the start of your life. That was supposed to be the time that was the best years of your life, and excitement for going off to college and everything was supposed to be, what was in store for me, and that was taken from me. And so I spent a lot of time on a lot of medications. I had numerous surgeries, and I had my battles with anxiety and depression, and was really angry with myself and with the people around me just because, why did this happen to me? And so after so long, and I wasn't getting better, my disease continued to spread. My doctors said, hey, we don't even know what to do with you anymore. So they sent me to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. Now let me start off by saying the Mayo Clinic changed my life. And so when I found out that I had to go there and I was going to spend, weeks on end at the hospital, I thought to myself, I gotta find some way to keep myself happy. I mean, hospitals are they're depressing and they're cold. So I went online and I found a dinosaur onesie. And so I purchased this dinosaur onesie and I actually wore it around the hospital and was just getting the best reactions. I mean, walking down the halls, strangers would smile at me and laugh just because of what I was doing. And I think that the way that I looked at my situation morphed my experience at the hospital. I mean, I could have been depressed and, been at the hospital and just been really upset that I had to be there and that I was missing out and all of this, which would totally have been, earlier when I was first diagnosed, but, finally it hit me that the way that you look at your situation can really alter your experience, and it can also alter the experiences of other people. I mean, like I said, walking down the hallways at the hospital, people who were, really sad and upset and had been going through really challenging times like myself, they were able to smile just because I was wearing a dinosaur onesie. I mean, it blew my mind. So that's when I started thinking, people are so infatuated with technology and they're missing out on this human, face-to-face interacting. And that's really important. So this project, so over the next, couple months, I went back to school at Stony Brook University, the college I currently attend, and during midterms and finals, the same kind of air that I had at the hospital was at this university. I mean, during midterms and finals, everybody is stressed out, anxious, depressed. Nobody really wants to talk. Everyone's just kind of to the library and back. That's it. And I mean, obviously, yes, it helps us, reach our goals and whatnot to be a little stressed, but you have to have balance with everything. And so I decided my reaction to that was to pull out my dinosaur onesie again. And so I walked around campus. I went to my midterms and finals in my dinosaur onesie. I mean, and to go from being that kid who didn't want attention, who was super shy, who never wanted people to look at her, I'm still inside that way, but I found when I was at the hospital that, if I can put myself a little bit out of my comfort zone, and I can really help make a difference in these other people's lives. I mean, I had people who were in wheelchairs, who were hooked up to IVs and, had all of this stuff going on. I had, their parents would come to me and say, hey, you made a really big difference in this kid's life. Or they would say, thank you so much for making my child's day. Or, I mean, even adults or senior citizens and the nurses and the doctors, I mean, all of them just reacted so positively to what I was doing. And the same happened at Stony Brook University when I was at school. People would just smile at me, and I mean, of course you'd have people laughing, but that's okay, because at the end of the day, I'm making a difference. Even if it makes me look a little ridiculous, it's worth it to me to have somebody to brighten somebody's day. And I even took a final in my dinosaur onesie. It was a big lecture hall, and there were about 300 people in the lecture hall, and as soon as I walked in the door, the entrance was in the back of the lecture hall, and I went in the door, and before anyone saw me except for the professor, there was just this blanket of stress and anxiety, and it covered the entire room. It was just so uncomfortable. And so the professor saw me, he started smiling, and I walked all the way to the front of the lecture hall and sat down, took my seat, and by the time I made it up to the front of the lecture hall, that blanket of stress and anxiety and tension, it just completely lifted, and for 5 minutes before the exam started, everyone was able to just kind of sit back and breathe and, refocus themselves and just kind of be there in the moment, and helped relax them to take their final. And my professor afterwards, he said, first of all, he's never had a dinosaur take his final before. And second of all, he said, thank you. He said, you helped everybody in this room today, and that you should be very proud of yourself. And he said, I'm sure that it's not easy to, be out of the box and wear a dinosaur onesie around campus, where a lot of people tend to judge and people tend to be negative about things. He said, what you're doing is you're making a difference. And, that just, to leave a final and to have a professor say something like that touched my heart. And so when I returned to school after winter break in the spring, it really hit me that this was going to be the perfect place for me to start the Dinosaur Onesie project. So what I began to do, being an artist, that's the only way that I know how to, or the easiest way that I know how to help other people. And so what I did was I made 100 of these little wax dinosaur figurines modeled after my own image in my dinosaur onesie. And I hid it around the campus in little unsuspecting places. And so people would find these, and there was a little tag attached to each of them that said, take me on an adventure, find out more information, and post pictures of me at the dinosauronsieproject.tumblr.com. And people started posting pictures. It started to become kind of like a small phenomenon on the Stony Brook campus. And people started posting pictures at the library, at different places on campus, at the bars, anywhere. And they were just, it was so positive. And so then people actually started getting mad at me for not just giving them a dinosaur onesie or a wax figurine. And I was trying to think, I was like, how can I stick to my conceptual ideas about, this is something that you come across when maybe you're not having such a great day, or maybe you're having a great day and this just makes it better. I mean, it's kind of like a little something that kind of breaks you from your routine of the day. And so what my solution to that was, being actually a printmaker as well, was to make a silk screen of the dinosaur onesie and say, hey, I'm going to be at this location between this hour and this hour, and bring a shirt and I will silk screen it for free. This not only helped with obviously costs, because everything that I'm doing with the Dinosaur Onesie project so far has been out of my pocket, but it also got people to interact, and there was an exchange between the two of us. I mean, the whole art project it's half of what I do in putting it out there, but it's completed by how other people interact with it. So like the wax figurines, half of the art to it was me making the wax figurine and hiding it, and then the other half was people interacting with it, finding it, getting happiness from it, and posting pictures. And so the same was with the t-shirts, where I made the silkscreen, and people would have to bring me their t-shirt and I would silkscreen on it, and it was the interaction and meeting these people face to face and talking to them and them telling them about the story behind the dinosaur onesie, and everyone, I got super positive comments about everything, and people said that they were really touched by the project and that I was making a difference. And I mean, to be able to meet these people that are saying things like this have completely changed my life, and it's so rewarding. And so I've continued to print these shirts, and I've done a road trip up the West Coast from Orange County, California, my hometown, up to the Bay Area, up by San Francisco. And along the way, I met a lot of really amazing people. I interacted with artists and just people in the community and talked to them about what the project is about. And I hid more Dinosaur Onesie wax figurines, and hopefully this upcoming trip, I'm going to do one more before the school semester starts. hopefully you'll be able to print some shirts and talk to more people, and there's pictures posted. You can check out all of that, and there's videos posted and everything. You can check out all of that at the dinosauronsieproject.tumblr.com. So from printing shirts and from doing these different things, I've gotten a lot of, like I said, really good reactions, and the word has started to spread about the project and to other departments on campus, and it's really neat because it's so nice to have an art project overlap outside of the art department, and it brought together people in the art department and people in other departments on campus, and it was really cool to have, I mean, there's not any other word for it. It was really awesome to be invited to be interviewed on WUSB, which was really exciting. It's a radio station in New York, and we talked about the project, and from that, I mean, different things they've kind of just started happening, and so I'm getting a little bit of funding this upcoming year, which is really exciting. There will also be an exhibition that's coming up it's all going to be just the Dinosaur Onesie project. There will be an artist talk that goes with it. The project has gone to Japan to help with, to Fukushima to help with relief from the nuclear disaster and the tsunami, and I mean, it's really taken off, and I'm so proud of it, and I couldn't have done all of this without you guys, and so thank you.